give the state of program for Baylor softball, and first of all, they had a good year, better than last year, and they surpassed the win total of last year, and they even made the ncaa tournament with 40 wins and 18 losses. Yes, they lost to Ole Miss twice, like the first game in the ncaa tournament, and then you had to somehow win the next game against Southern Illinois, and that was a slugfest, to say the least. I mean, you were up 9-2, then they tied the game up in the bottom of the seventh, and they had to go to extras, and we could have really lost that game in extra innings, but you survived that in 9 innings in a little over 4-hour game, and you won 13-9 with a 3-run RBI by Shaylin Govan, and then you got there was a pinch runner for her and Dariana Orm, and they got another RBI and they got those 4 runs in 1 inning in the top of the ninth. So, but honestly, I just think that second game last night, the last loss of the year, they were just too tired. And I'm going to say this right now, Dariana Orm, she was day to day, game to game with pain, with something. First of all, that's a big problem when that's your best pitcher. And also, Leah Benford tore her ACL. Or, yeah, for sure a knee injury, like an ACL. And it was early on too. I just don't remember when it was. When Benford got hurt. But I definitely know she played in the Oklahoma game. It was sometime in February, I believe. If not, March. But y'all could double check on that. And it was going to try to throw it to, she was an infielder and she was trying to throw the ball to first base, and then she was trying to avoid the runner, somebody, and did it at the same time. It was just a freak thing. Yeah, it was sometime in between February and March. She didn't play against A&M, I know that. So yeah, in the second game. So I just don't. I don't really remember when, but in particular, but it doesn't really matter. You were without your second best pitcher, and she was not only an infielder, but she could pitch the ball too. So you're down 2 pitchers for that series potentially. And Dariana Orm did try to loosen up her arm. Loosen up last night in that last game of the year, but couldn't go. So, and I'm just gonna say, I think she was overused when Aaliyah Benford got hurt. That was supposed to be your 1-2 at pitcher, and then Riley Crandell as a freshman will be your number 3. So, yeah. And they were inconsistent too. I'm not going to lie about that one. First of all, they had 6 top 5 wins, but yet they lost to Kansas. Lost to Iowa State 3 times. Lost to Texas Tech once. If we would have beat Iowa State in that last game, the only game in the Big 12 tournament that we played in, we would have been a top 16. That, or win one of those other games, you've been in top 16. And we were 8-10 in the conference as well, finished 4th in the Big 12. Though I know we didn't do so well in the Big 12 tournament either, I know, but here's the positive thing. We didn't lose right away. 2 games in first 2 games in the NCAA tournament, like many other teams in the country. I'm going to name one example, and that's notable. Number 2 UCLA. At home, they lost twice in 2 games. Yeah, you heard me. correctly. That was just a stunner. So I wouldn't, and I know there are some Oklahoma fans trolling about them losing that first game to Ole Miss. Coach of the year, coach of the year in the Big 12, losing another game. They don't understand the situation. They need to worry about their own team. And not only that, karma could hit you. I mean, I'm just being serious. And they did that to UCLA too. Those people need to watch out because they're not invincible. We're the only teams that beat Oklahoma this year. They're fortunate enough to even play us. So, I'm just going to say this too. We're only going to lose one senior. One. You heard me correctly. Josie Bauer. That's it. Everybody else could come back. And then you add 3 recruits, which one of them is a pitcher. So you're going to have enough depth at pitcher next year and 2 infielders as well. So, I mean, you're going to bring back your majority of your offense in terms of returning production and pitching as well. Everything in the pitching department. If we could just get Darren Orm healthy and Leah Benford healthy, that's a solid 1-2 punch. And then put Riley Crandell as your number 3. And she was like Big 12 freshman of the year, by the way. And she had to step up in some games. We swept Texas. That was the number 5 team in the country. Swept them. So, yeah, it just seems like ever since we beat Tennessee twice at their place, and now not really as a series, but like as a neutral site, like a type of thing on the schedule, which was, I'm going to go, it was like when we play Mercer as well, that one game, and then we played them again. So then the weather kind of impacted Mercer, the second game with Mercer, but we played Tennessee game and we beat them. So, yeah, April 7th was that at about that time, April 6th and 7th. So, the future of the program is bright, and I'm not worried about this program. We're going to be fine. I do think next year's expectations, and it's realistic, be a top 16 host. You got all the production coming back except one player. I mean, and you add 3, why not? And of course, the goal, now we won't be so under the radar anymore. And we're going to start ranked, I would think, next year. I would have to think so, but I am not positive. But I would have to think that because of the returning production. In addition, I would also say maybe if we were give more respect earlier on in terms of rankings, we would be better off in the RPI. I mean, better off to be a top 16 seed this year. And I don't understand how the NCAA tournament committee said, we're going to favor teams with a lot of top 10 wins. Did you really? We had 6 of those. And all of those were top 5 teams. And yet no top 16 for us. But I wish they would explain why they didn't. It's probably because of those losses, but still I'd rather hear that instead of all that hypocrisy. And I also would say, why would you, if you're going to play 3 games on a Saturday for the NCAA tournament, I mean, like the winner's bracket and then 2 elimination games. I mean, like for the loser of that first game, losers of those first 2 games, and then the loser of that winner's bracket. You know what I mean? Why don't you start the games earlier? Like, I don't know, 11 a.m. your time. And then the next game would be at 3 p.m. And then the next game after that, like 8. I mean, or 7 or something. Just to spread them out better. I mean, I don't know whose job is it for that situation, but I think that was debunked. So it's going to be a good year next year, and I'm not worried. We just got to get healthy for the off season here with Darion Orm, especially because she's our best pitcher, and Leah Benford. And we got to remember too. We brought in a lot of. They got some transfers like Shaylin Govan, for example. Presley Pylon, for example, for this year. And of course, Mackenzie Wilson was like last year. She transferred into Baylor. Darion Orm transferred last year to Baylor as well. So, try to look other transfers. Ava Noel was a junior college coming in player, but she hardly played, I know. But Shannon Vivoda as well. So, as a transfer from a community college. Amber Tovan is another example. So, yeah. That's just naming some players that consistently played that were new. Besides, maybe I doubt like a fresh Crandell, for example, had to play. Yeah, had to play more because injuries piled up, and she pitched too much in that first game, and they pitched her all game long in that second game. It's not ideal. You got to have depth at pitcher. I mean, but at least next year, with one pitcher coming in and Darion Orm back, that you're going to bring back all the pitchers you have this year, which was the number 1, 3, 4, and then Benford as well. All 5 of them. And then you're going to have another player coming in. So 6 pitchers. They're going to have more than enough depth for next year, and maybe get Ava Noel more acclimated to the level from a junior college to Division I here. I mean, it's a difference. Some differences between those two. You can't deny that. And Casey West, I would put on the pitching obviously Darion Orm is the number 1. The number 2 for me would be Aaliyah Benford. The number 3, Ryan Crandell. The 2 and 3 could be interchanged. Then Casey West. Then your number 5 would be Ava Noel, and then the last one would be your incoming freshman at number 6. So I do think we're probably going to play some games that some of those younger players, like the freshman we got coming in as a pitcher, is going to have some game reps, I would think, and Ava Noel needs more reps too. Crandall, I'm not worried about. West, I'm not worried about, though. West needs to be. The thing about Crandall, when she's down in the, she's up and down, and that's typical for freshmen anyway, at this sport. So, in Casey West, she just needs to find a way to put out batters a little bit more. Darion Orm, I'm not worried. I just got to get her healthy, and same thing goes for Benford. And you got to be more consistent offensively. The defense was strong this year. So just keep up the defense, be a little more consistent on the hitting, and get more. And the goal, of course, for next year, I'm already going to say this, maybe another 40-win season, which was only the 12th time under Glenn Moore. Yeah, 12 times. First one since 2017, and we got our first NCAA tournament win since 2018. At least we got that burning off our backs on both of those. Though, granted, I know we're not going any further, but it's still a good future of the program here for next year. Anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and see you guys later. 5 subscribers, we're on the road to. Let's go.